Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today I have two new Digi download sets to share with you. Now these Digi download sets are for those of you who like to make handmade journals, junk journals or lapbooks. So what I'll do is I will turn over to my overhead camera and show you what I've created, what you get in the two different Digi download sets and what they look like once they've been cut out and made up. So the first Digi download set is this set of mini Perpetual calendars for junk journals and whatever kind of journal that you want to use, or just to use as basic ephemera if you want to. Now there are two sets in that first Digi download set. The first set, which has kind of that vintage vibe, so you've got that motley old fox kind of paper as a background. So you've got first 6 months on the first sheet, plus a couple of blanks, but I'll tell you the reasoning behind those two in a minute. And on the second sheet, you've got from July to December, so you've got the other 6 months of the year, and again another 2 of those blanks. Now, as I was doing these calendars, I first started off by putting numbers in, leaving all this blank, and then thought, you know what, I'm actually going to leave it so we can put the numbers in. But what I'll do is I will give you a couple of versions of the blank, because some people like to start their week on a Sunday, not on a Monday. But also, not only, but also, this is in English. I'm aware that a lot of my subscribers and viewers aren't English. English isn't their first language. They may speak English, but if they want to do it in, put their calendars in German, Italian, or whatever other Spanish, whatever other language, then they can use these blank ones to write in the month names in their own language, and again start the week whenever they want to by putting in whatever day of the week that they want. So that's the vintage version. So you've got the English version that's already set out with the week starting on a Monday, or you've got a blank version that you can customize to your heart's content. It looks a little bit grungy. There's the speckling, this fox in the background, but once you've cut these out, once you've printed them, and then and you want maybe to have nice backing to them, I've also included a full back so that you can print that on the back, so that when you do cut it out, it will already have that mottling on the back for you. And all you have to do then is to go around the edges with a distress pen or dirty at the edges to get rid of those white kind of raw lines, if you like. So that is the first ones on that Digi set. So you've got the vintage set with the printed back, so you can use those for your journals. So like I said, you can also do your own months. But also included in that set, I did a clean white version. Mainly because if you don't want to go through the added expense of printing and having that background printed, you can then just use these, print them on white, and then you can tea dye, or you can do whatever you want to your paper, or coffee dye your paper and age them that way. Or if you want to, there's no back to these, by the way, because they're white, so there's no back to go with it. But you still get your blank versions on both sheets. So these are kind of like the Snow White version of the mini Perpetuals. But I'll show you what I did. Obviously I printed those on white to show you, because the plain ones are included in the set. But when you print onto other papers, you get a completely different look and feel. So I've just printed the first sheet out of onto some craft paper. So this actually is paper, it's not card. So this is just a normal kind of print away craft paper that I purchased a heap of recently for next to nothing. So again, you've got that kind of really nice vintagey feel to it, and then you can go in again later if you want to and grunge the edges up once you've cut them up. But don't forget, because it's on coloured paper, you don't need to print anything on the back because you've already got that same front as you have on the back. So they can be completely customised and done to your heart's content. So what I will do is I will go away and I will cut some of these out and I'll show you what they look like once they're done and made up. Actually, rather than just going off and doing it and coming back and showing you the end result, I thought I'd just quickly show you what I'm going to do. So I've picked the one that's already printed on the back, and then I'm just going to grab a craft knife. Of course, you know, you can always use scissors. I always find that you don't necessarily have to have perfect straight lines when you're dealing with junk journals or handmade journals, or even if you're wanting these for like your traveller's notebooks. It really doesn't matter, so you can get away with wibbly wobbly cuts. Nobody's going to knock on your door if you've got a little bit of a wobbly line. The scissor police won't chase you down, trust me. Okay, so I've just quickly cut out August and July's, and I'll flip those over and you can see they're already kind of grunged on the back, and you don't really need to do much more else to them. But I like to get rid of those kind of like raw edges, and you can do that in two ways. A distress marker, this one's just walnut stain, and you can just go around the edge just to get rid of those white nasty raw edges. Just be careful, because if you slip you'll go down the front. There we go. So that's got rid of those raw edges there. You can't really see those. So that's one way of doing it. Obviously water-based inks, so you could just use a really cheap brown felt tip pen. Steal one from the grandkids. They'll never know. Or you could just use distress ink and just go around like so. Just pretty them up, well I say pretty them up, grunge them up as little as you want, because they've already got bits on the back anyway. That's if you do decide to print on the back. You might want to stick these in onto your journal so you don't need to print the backs. So that back sheet there is only an optional. It's not, you know, you don't have to use it. Just recently, I think I've been going through a full set of printer inks like once a week with all the stuff that I've been doing recently, and they're not cheap. The Durabright ones that I get, if I get them from a cheap source on the internet, you know, I'm still paying £25. If I get them from, you know, like a supermarket or something like that, they're £30 or over. It's just ridiculous. Excuse me while I'll just lubricate my vocal cords. So that was just a couple of them with that done. So it looks as though there's a white line on the edge of that, but actually there isn't. That might just be the way that the screen is going. So you could just crunch that up a bit more. It's probably telling me I need grunging more. Yeah, so size wise, I never said how big they were, did I? Centimetre wise, they're about 8.5 by just over 6 centimetres. In old money, he says, they are 2.5 inches by just over 3.25. So they're a nice kind of, I would say business cardy kind of size, but they're not. Maybe about the same size or thereabouts as an ATC. Not kind of a standard size. But let me go and grab my lap book, which I haven't used for ages and ages and ages. And we'll just see how that's going to go. Now, if you're interested to see how I created these lap books, there is a video already that you can watch that shows you how I put all the pages in, all the flip pages. This one's not been used for a while, you can tell. Ooh, there you go. That's actually come out. I didn't stick that down obviously hard enough. Out we go. So that's one of the lap books. So anyway, so if you want to, I'll grab some glue, I'll just show you how easy it is just to stick these in. So again, like I said, I didn't really need to put the back on this. Yeah. So I'm going to just stick that down there. So you could, it's very easy just to add these in as pieces of, you know, ephemera. So that's July. Let's take that tag out and let's stick that up there. Job's a good one. But like I said, you could print these over the top of some existing ephemera if you want, cut it down to whatever printer size it takes, and just print these over the top. It'll work. Perfect. And there you go. So I did that to one of my lap books. There you go. Cool. Right, so that was the mini Perpetual junk journal calendar pages. Those were the little mini Perpetuals, because obviously you write the numbers in wherever it falls, and you can use the same one year on, year out. So it's not a download that will be out of date next year, because you can use these again year after year after year after year after year. So that is the first lot. Now on to the second. Okay, so the second Digi download set for the day is this one. So this is, in fact I'll put the main image on the screen for you now. So this one is 15 pages of Digi downloads. Obviously you've got the 12 months going from January right the way through to December. I know the image on the internet is missing July, but that's just because I'm stupid and I forgot to add that in while I was creating the art, but July is included in the set, please believe me. But this is pretty much what you get. So you get the full 12 months from January right the way through to December. You also get a white label version of the same thing. So again, I'll explain what that is meant for later on, but you get the full 12 months of those. You also get a weekly kind of planner tag. So again, you get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But included in the set, there is also a blank version of this one, so you can start your week on a Sunday. So again, the same one, but doesn't have anything written in there, and you also get your white label version that's also blank too. For the monthly ones, you will also get your blank monthly version, again for exactly the same reasons. If you don't speak English, you want to write whatever the month is in your own language and then start the week whenever you want to, you can do that too. And again, these are perpetual, which means that they don't run out. They're not time dependent. You can use these every single year. So each year you can create a brand new set to add into your journals if you want to. So These tags are also the same size as the standard Ranger number 5. There's a little bit of a variation with the angles there, but that's fine because you can always just adjust if you want to. So these white label ones down here will fit, as I will show you in a little while. So also, if you've got one of those Sizzix Thinlet tag dies, which cuts a similar sort of size, let's just pull one from this tub here. That's been cut out. Again, they will fit. They're the right height, the right width. They will also fit on that same size die. So you can create your own tags, your own calendar tags. You don't have to have the vintagey version. If you want to do them on whatever substrate or whatever coloured cardstock, even if you wanted to do metallics or whatever, it will fit because I designed it to fit those tags too. So not only will it fit the die, but it'll also fit the purchase ones that you can get from Ranger. And don't forget they do manila, black and craft. That's not an advert. I'm not getting paid by them. So once again, just going back to these monthly ones, you may be wondering why there's two side by side. Well, I've deliberately done it so that you don't have to print a back for each one. The back comes attached to the tag itself. So I will just quickly run my little scalpel just down there. Just line that up. And I'm not being 100% perfect with this cutting out because I can always adjust it a little bit later. Cover any mistakes with ink, just like you can with anything else. So like I said, doesn't matter if you've got wobbly hands, we can always adjust. So what I like to do is fold them over, grab a bone folder, I've got one somewhere. There you can see you've now got a double-sided tag. So all you have to do is to grab some glue, just a little bit of glue will do, some along the crease, down the sides, like so, and then push it closed. Get your bone folder and then just smooth it out. It will also ensure that the glue spreads on the inside and you don't get a little gap where you've folded it over. You can then grab your scissors or get your craft knife and just snip off those edges. See? And there's a little bit of a lip just there, so I can either take my scissors or a knife and just trim that so it fits quite nicely. Get your pen or your distress ink like we said before, and you can just clean up those edges. There we go. Just making sure that it is grabbing. I'm doing this while the glue is still wet, obviously. I've not really given it any time to dry, so just for the purposes of the demonstration. Right, we've done that. Let's grab some distress ink and just grunge that up a little bit. So even though you've got a dirty grungy back, you can always add more. Let's take it from being 50 years old to 150 years old. Just keep on adding that grunge. And you can pretty much go as far as you want. Just keep on adding grunge up. And there's one that you've got for the month. Now, I've already put in a circle for the whole reinforcer, but on each of the kits, on the front of this, there's also a couple of extra ones. You don't really need to use those if you don't want to. You can just, if you've got a hole punch that's big enough, you can just punch out another one, or if you're happy just the way it is, you can, I'm looking for my crocodile. There we go, it's buried under a pile of rubbish. You can just use it as is. So the choices are there for you to use the one that I've provided or not, as the case may be. You can just line that up in the middle, pop it out. I know, you'd think I'd actually stuck the whole reinforcer on there, wouldn't you? It's like magic. It's like witchcraft. And then if you want to just get rid of that white raw edge on the inside, just run your pen on the inside of the hole. Just like that. You can use that side for journaling, that for your journal, and then you can add some string if you so desire. So let's do that. So let's just do a double loop of string. Loop it through. There you go. Because you've got a double width or double thickness of card, because you've layered it, that's going to be pretty good. So you've got a monthly calendar tag with some journaling space, and I'll bring in one of my other lap books. So like I said, I'll put a link in the description area below, and I'll try and stick one of those card things up here if you're interested in seeing how I made my lap book, because this is the one that just keeps on going. It's one of those ones that you just keep on finding different ways to open the pages. And those tags, like I said, you can just use, sling in, or you could just actually stick them onto one of your pages if you like. Job's a good one. Now, before we go, yeah, they are two different lap books. Before we go, I said I would just quickly show you how to maybe use, tell you what, let's use the one, the day planner one, or the week planner one. So I'm just going to cut this out. There we go. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum. So, actually, I'm not really good with scissors, to be honest. I'm much better and quicker using a knife. I must have been Jack the Ripper in a previous life. Okay, so we've got that. So that's the clean white version. I did say that it would fit on one of those tags, so we will do that. Let's have a look. That looks like it might be one of the Ranger, not one of the Ranger ones, that's one of the ones from the die set, I think. But there, it fits. Or we can go multicoloured. Let's grab a red one. Why not? Is that one or two? No, I thought so. I felt a bit thick. So it's obviously a different die because the holes are different. It still works though. So you could still add any of these kind of like weeklies or perpetual calendars on your own size tags. You could even go bigger if you wanted to. Just grab that glue. Drop that down, just line it up. There you go. Now I do have some rather large manila tags, so you could, if you wanted to, just layer them up. It's a bit of a thing. So again, you could then go around and distress up. You could print those onto whatever kind of paper you wanted. You could spritz these with your dilutions, with your spray stains. You could even go in and colour them with your Copics if you want to. Copics, Copics, potato. And just play, customise. You see, that's the thing. It's okay, people like me giving you vintage versions, but you might not like that vintage version. You might want to do a Brighton kind of happy modern take. So I'm happy to supply the bits for you to do that. So let's just wrap some string through that one too. I'm not putting a whole reinforcer on that because the card is really thick anyway. Back to front, front to back, it really don't matter how you thread your string. There you go. So what we can do on that is then take a pen and go Thursday, Wednesday, easy as that. And then just grab that lap book back again, and then we can add that into one of the other pockets. Take that one out. Let's take that one out and add that because it's red. There you go. Job's a good one. So I hope that you like those two new Digi download sets. Like I said, there are 15 pages in the tag one, so unfortunately the price has to reflect that, whereas the Perpetual smaller one, there's only 5 pages. You've got your 2 pages of your Perpetual calendars plus the back, which is your 5th sheet, so obviously the price is reflected in the fact that it's only 5 sheets, but that one is 15 pages, so there's a lot to go at. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at those, and you can see the many possibilities of adding a Perpetual calendar or calendar pages to your junk journals, your lap books, or just your handmade journals or traveller's notebooks. There you go. So many different journals, so little time. Hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, those 2 new Digi downloads are available on my website right now. There will be a link in the description below too. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now. Yes, he is a handsome chap, isn't he? I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.